This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with the Mark Weber.
Dub them ease.
And Mark, we're here. We're here.
Just a couple of dudes wearing black shirts. No big deal.
a couple of dudes wearing black. Well, I had to support the Raiders and the Power Rangers. I had to support two things today.
I had to support Coheed and Cambria, as I like to do.
As you always like to do. It's very different because I think the past few weeks you've had just a plain white shirt on.
I think so.
A plain white tee is what
plain white tee, which I'm not really a big fan of, the plain white tees.
But you don't like Hey There Delilah? I mean,
I don't mind that song.
The hit song from our high school days is Hey There Delilah.
Yeah, I guess that was a hit song.
It was a hit song during our high school days. But what we are doing today, first off, welcome into the Onside Kick here on Most Valuable Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything football news, football anything, basically NFL. We got you covered here on MVP. What we're doing today, Mark, is we have reached the pinnacle. We're done with our predictions. We talked about a little stories here and then. There are some injuries that have happened. I will get to those later. But we are giving our hold us to them predictions. And I know that last week you had a gripe.
Yeah, I do.
Technically, you wanted to do it next week after week 3.
I get it.
But we want these up longer so you guys can see it, so it has a higher shelf life here on the YouTubes and the Blog Talk radios.
When something like
Teddy Bridgewater,
OBJ getting hurt, Teddy Bridgewater, Tony Romo, those type of things.
Thank God Tannehill happened before these predictions.
Yeah,
because if we had another,
it wouldn't have affected that much.
But if we had a Romo and a Teddy Bridgewater situation again,
it would be more like Big Ben got hurt. Actually, no, it'd be more like Joe Flacco getting
hurt. I do not want to do a revised prediction next week, guys. But what we're going to do, in case you're new, we're going to start with the AFC, go into the NFC, then go through our playoffs, and then wrap things up with the Super Bowl. We'll go division by division, kind of read off who we've got winning, some of the records, and then we'll talk about each division. Let's just get right into it, Mark.
And let's also give credit, though, that someone's going to get the kiss of death today.
Someone already got it for college football.
Yeah.
Someone's already got it for college football.
Whoever
today,
Ricky
someone gets it for the NFL.
Picks to win the Super Bowl will guaranteed have a huge injury that devastates everything.
2 years ago, it was the Cowboys. Last year, it was the Cardinals. This year, it will be someone else. I also picked the Bears.
You got the double Bears.
No, it was the Colts and the Cowboys.
Yeah, you got the double.
The double kiss of death.
Dangerous.
But yeah, no, there have been whoever gets the kiss of death gets an injury. You get an injury, too.
Or if you're listening to this on Blog Talk Radio, you can skip to the end and find out.
Yeah, you can skip to the end. But please don't. Listen all the way through. You'll want to hear this. But let's start with the AFC North. Mark, run down your teams, who you got from top to bottom and records in the AFC North.
Well, this is actually a good division for me. I feel good about it. I was a little low on the Ravens before, but I moved them up. Same thing with the Bengals. I was a little low on them. I actually probably am a little bit lower on them in my head than I was on paper. And same thing is that I was a little higher on the Browns in my head than I am on paper for them. So, you know how it goes. So I have the Steelers at an 11-5.
Okay.
And then I have the Ravens at 8-8. And I won't reveal, we're not revealing playoff seedings. So all you Ravens fans are going to have to wait and see. Going to have to wait and find out. Then I got the Bengals at 7-9. So they're close there with the Ravens, just not quite. And keeping it close again, the Browns at 6-10.
No, and with me, we'll go right into mine. I've got kind of similar. Leading it off in the bottom, I'll go with the Browns, 13-3. The Bengals are 8-8. The Ravens then 2-8-8. And then the Steelers winning the division at 11-5. And this division, to me, Mark, I kind of feel like there are two knowns in this division. One, Steelers are going to win the division. I'm sorry, Baltimore. I'm sorry,
it is known.
Cincinnati. The Steelers are going to win this division. The Browns are going to come in last. However, this is a different Browns team. This isn't like
what was your Browns record again?
3-13 is what I had them at. I mean, I believe
I doubled your wins.
I believe their only 3 wins that I had them going is week 5 they'll beat the Jets.
Yeah.
Week 13 they will go on the road and beat the Chargers. Week 16 they will beat the Bears. Their only 3 wins. I almost gave them the Week 17 win against the Steelers, but then I decided against it.
Well, I mean, they could potentially if Big Ben's not playing. No, I mean, I just because we're on the Browns.
Yep. They should be a little bit funner
I think they'll
to watch.
surprise some teams.
Yeah.
I think that they are a trap game for teams like the Titans, which I gave them a win for, even though we'll get to it, but I like the Titans a lot. I have them being also a trap game for your favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings. So I think I did that as a joke initially, but I'm keeping it. No offense to your Vikings, but they're terrible. And then I gave them the win against the Lions because they're coming off of the bye. Even though it's an away game, I think they can do it. Plus, I had them on a bit of a hot streak. Now, in all actuality, I probably should switch that Vikings win
to a loss
and give them the Jaguars because after watching the Jaguars play in the preseason as opposed to when I first did this a while back, it's not looking great. I mean, Chad Henne should be the starting quarterback.
And for me, the big question mark with this division, and this is the thing, the big meat and potatoes I just wanted to touch with it, the Ravens and the Bengals. Because, in my Ravens preview, I said they have a small window. It's either 8-8, 10-6. That's the window that I see for them. For the Bengals, I'm not really, I'm not high on the Bengals this year, but I just don't think that them and the Ravens are going to be. If I have to pick one that's better, I think the Ravens will do better. But I'm not high on the Bengals this year. I just don't know what it is, but I just see them as 8-8, maybe third in the AFC North, and then that's where they sit.
Yeah. I mean, that's my thing with the Bengals. I was definitely a lot lower on them last year. As I think I predicted them 4 or 5 wins. But it's just, to me, this is a team that's kind of struggling with some mediocrity. The running back situation, I'm a fan of. Not sure how I feel about the defense out there. And, we all got really high on Andy Dalton because of A.J. Green. We all really like that, and they had some good weapons as well. But I think we're all just kind of getting over it a little bit. It's kind of you haven't really done enough yet to really get me sold. You had me sold, but you didn't close the deal. And now I've been falling off the team.
Let's move into the next division, the AFC South. I will go first for this one, and my standings read off as so. Number 4, leading it off in the cellar, the 5-11 Jacksonville Jaguars. Just think you guys will stay kind of pat down there with 5-11. Then the Colts. They're the Colts and the Texans, very interesting teams to me. I have the Colts in third at 8-8. I do not know what to expect from this team. If Andrew Luck is healthy, expect a couple more wins under that, maybe a playoff spot. But to me, I'm a little cautious when it comes to the Colts. And for the Texans, they're in second at 8-8. I don't know what's going on. I thought Deshaun Watson, I almost said Deshaun Jackson, Deshaun Watson should have been able to win this job already. However, it is looking that Tom Savage might be the starter week 1, which I won't be that happy with. I want Deshaun Watson in there, not Deshaun Jackson. We're going to get to him in the NFC. But then the Titans, I feel like they're going to run away with this. 11-5 for the Titans, winners of the AFC South. How about you?
So, pretty similar in the order. I'll go from the bottom just like you did now, and I'll change it. So I got the Jaguars at 3-13.
Ooh.
And I will give the spoiler. Congrats to all you Jaguar fans out there. You guys got the bottom seed of the AFC.
You
guys are the worst. You're not number 1 overall. Don't worry.
It's the 49ers probably.
There's a different team that gets that honor. And actually, there's another team in the AFC that's also 3-13.
Oh, okay, but they get the first pick.
Yeah, but they're not quite where you guys are. Then we're going to move up to the Colts. So we got the Colts 8-8. Like you say, a lot of this is going to depend on Andrew Luck, but honestly, that defense doesn't look any better than it did last year.
Malik Hooker is going to have to develop in that system.
Frank Gore is just another year older, so not much to get excited about when Andrew Luck's not there. Even when he's there, there's not too much to be excited about. Then I got the Texans. Same questions as you. I mean, Deshaun Watson should be easy for him to take the job from Tom Savage. He's not doing it. And I don't really understand. Savage is not going to get you too much. Potential to get into the playoffs, I have them at 8-8, so probably not going to happen. Definitely not going to happen. I'm just going to spoil that one for you guys. It didn't happen.
I'll keep their hopes alive. They might be in my playoffs.
They're not in mine.
They might. They might be in mine.
And then sitting there pretty at 11-5, I have the Tennessee Titans. Big fan of the Tennessee Titans this year.
I originally had, early on when I went through and I did these, I had the Texans at like 12 wins, 11, 12 wins. I'm like, winners of the division. Deshaun Watson's going to win that job. The defense is just too good. He's got the weapons on offense. And then I started to be like, oh, wait, they're probably not going to start him week 1. They're like, oh, he's not going to be, maybe I should back down. And I just backed down enough to where I eventually was like, okay, 8-8, 9-7. That's kind of where you fit. And early on, the Titans, when I first started going through this, my big question is Mariota. However, in the preseason, I don't have that question anymore. Mariota, I think, is going to be effective this year as long as he can avoid getting bitten by the injury bug this year. I think that I am very high on the Titans in this division, and I think the only team that I see rivaling them, not for the division championship, just for like maybe they might finish a game lower than them, is the Colts. Because the one thing I want to say, 8-8, but 2 games I have them losing that they could win is at Baltimore and at Buffalo. Those are 2 winnable games that I have going the other way, making them 8-8 this year. So, I mean, this one's pretty much a locked division to me where it's going to be the Titans, maybe the Colts or the Texans. We'll see when we get to the playoffs. How about the AFC East? What do you got cooking for the Patriots and then everyone else?
I don't really think there's going to be too many surprises in the AFC East for anybody. My other 3-13 AFC team here is the Jets.
So number 1 pick overall?
Yep. Well, no. They're not the number 1 pick overall.
Okay.
No, they get number 3.
Okay.
So they'll have the 3rd overall. Jaguars get the 2nd overall. There's a very special team in there that has number 1 overall.
Okay.
And then we're going to move up to the Buffalo Bills at 6-10. But here's the thing I got to say about the Buffalo Bills. With reports coming out that they're basically willing to trade LaShawn McCoy and Tyrod Taylor to whoever is willing to give them a bag of chips.
The tank machines.
Yeah, they are fully committed to the tank. And this is the part where I do have to put the asterisk in here. If they do it, if they got the balls to get rid of LaShawn McCoy and Tyrod Taylor, this is a 2-win team.
The Jets.
If they're lucky.
They beat the Jets.
They'll beat the Jets.
They'll beat the Jets.
Because I'm really not into the Jets. But you know what? The Jets have a good defense. So at least they got that going for them. The only other win, I could maybe give them one of the Miami games. And mostly that's because it's in division.
Yeah, and those both come for Buffalo late in the season. How about did you finish it off?
I did not finish it off. I just wanted to put that out there because if they trade Tyrod, this doesn't actually change very much of anything. And LaShawn McCoy.
It's almost a full tank mode.
Yeah, it is full tank mode at that point. I mean, they're basically pulling the Jets of, hey, Christian Hackenberg's our starter. Doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. Then we got the Dolphins at, the Bills were 6-10 currently, possibly good old 2-14. The Dolphins are a 6-10 team to me. You know, I like Jay Cutler out there. I think that he is just as good as Ryan Tannehill, if not better. But he doesn't have that much time to really start to gel with some of these guys. So there's going to be some growing pains. The season, it's not easy. It's not necessarily easy, and a lot's going to depend on the run game. If the run game gets going like it did last year, then good. If it doesn't really get going, this team's not going to go anywhere. So they're a 6-10 team as well for me. Then the Patriots are 14-2.
14-2. Who are their 2 losses? Because I thought before we recorded this, I thought you had 3.
No, just 2.
I thought you had 3 for them.
I have them losing, of course, to the New England Patriots. I'm sorry, the New England Patriots losing to the Oakland
New
Raiders.
England Patriots, man.
Basically,
they can only beat themselves. That's it.
They'll lose to your Oakland Raiders that you like so much, and they're also going to lose to the Jay Cutler Miami Dolphins.
Back to back. So losing to the teams that are off the bye.
Well, okay, so I have them losing to the off the bye.
But
Realistically, they're going to lose week 14.
And the only 2 teams that they play that come off the bye. But you said you have them losing week 14?
Well, no, I have it on here as 12.
Okay.
But realistically, it would be week 14 because the home game.
The home game for the Dolphins.
I have it at 12 partially because I showed Sean and he cried. And it made me really happy.
Let's put it this way. With mine, just rolling right into it. If you guys have seen my Jet preview already or my Jet prediction video already, you know what is coming and you already see it. 0-16. The Jets are 0-16, worst team in football. Congratulations, you are.
Well, they're not the Lions.
Well, this year they are, and they're the number 1 pick. Congratulations, you get Sam Darnold in the NFL draft. Then 3rd, I've got the Bills, 4-12. I mean, kind of like you. If they go full tank mode, not a lot changes here. Maybe they go 2 wins because the 4 wins I have for them, 2 against the Jets, a home game against the Saints, and a home game against the Colts. The only game they'll win on the road, in my mind, is against the Jets because the Jets are horrible and they're not going to win a single game this year. Then in second at 9-7, 4-2 in the division, I've got the Jay Cutler-led Miami Dolphins. And then number 1 in the AFC East with a record of 15-1. The only game I have them losing is the same one that you said, against the Oakland Raiders, week 11 in Mexico City. 15-1, top of the AFC East is the New England Patriots. And to me in this division, one of the big questions, and it's like I have it, they have a spot to try to get into the playoffs. They're kind of jockeying for that position right now, is the Miami Dolphins. Can Jay Cutler get them to the playoffs? That's the big question I have with this division. Because you already touched the Bills kind of with the Dolphins. Can Cutler get them to the playoffs?
And I really think that they got there with Ryan Tannehill. I don't think Cutler's any worse than Ryan Tannehill. If that run game's as good as it's been in the past, then yeah, I think that they're a team that could potentially do it. And it's not far because the number 6 seed, I'll go ahead and reveal that, is an 8-8 team.
Okay.
So I have them at 6-10 to get a couple more wins, and maybe you can steal that number 6 seed.
Yeah, and I mean, the big games for me that I have them losing, obviously, like the Chiefs, the Falcons, the Titans, basically the playoff teams that they play. Like the teams that you would expect to make the playoffs, the Titans, the Patriots, the Falcons, the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Steelers. Those are basically the teams that I have them losing to. The only team that is on the cusp that I have them losing to, and I kind of had to toss a coin for it because I think that they could win, but really, I had them as a win. Tannehill got injured. Then I'm like, okay, Jay Cutler, week 1, how ready will he be? Is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the only one that's not really a for-sure playoff team that I kind of have them losing. And then to wrap everything up, I will start with it kind of doing the alternating fashion, is the AFC West. And in last place, the Denver Broncos. Bronco fans did not like me last year. I had you guys going 4-12. I took your criticisms to heart. Trevor Siemian is your starter. Congratulations, you are 5-11, 1 win better than I had you at this time last year. Then the next team up, the LA Chargers. They're an interesting one to me because early on, before the Mike Williams news came out, I had them at like 9-7, maybe 10-6 at the highest. 9-7 for sure. Now with the Mike Williams, he may miss the entire season. 7-9 is where I have them 3rd place in the AFC West. And then kind of pseudo just what you would expect. The top 2 teams, the Chiefs and the Raiders, 10-6 for the Chiefs in second, 13-3 for the Raiders at the top. And I've got a question for you. Well, actually, go through yours, and then I want you to answer this question about the Chiefs of Colin Cowherd. I watched his. He was very low on the Chiefs. Do the Chiefs have a down year? Answer that after you give kind of your run-through of that division.
So I have the Los Angeles Chargers at 6-10. I also have the Denver Broncos at 6-10.
Okay.
Of course, Broncos get ranked that one position higher here. Then I have the Chiefs at 10-6, which I think answers your question. No, I do not believe they're going to have a down year. I just think that Andy Reid is always going to at least get you a playoff spot, essentially, because that's what the guy is really good at, getting you to the playoffs, not necessarily winning the Super Bowl. So he'll get you there, and Alex Smith is one of those perfect quarterbacks for him. He is good enough. He's not going to make mistakes. This is a team that dinks and dunks their way forward, and I don't see any reason why they are not going to be in the playoffs again this year, not winning the division this year, because that's going to go to the 11-5 Oakland Raiders. So soon to be Las Vegas Raiders. But yeah, I definitely think they're there. I don't think that Mahomes gets a chance because I know some people are getting excited about Mahomes. I don't think Mahomes is necessarily ready to take that from Alex Smith. Probably next year, he probably will get the opportunity to do it. But this year, no, I have the Chiefs getting in there just fine.
No, and yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, the Raiders to me this is their time to take the division from the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, I still think the Chiefs are going to be good enough. Both of us having them 10-6, I believe. Second in the AFC West, a playoff team, probably in both of ours. But this is the year for me Like, if the Raiders want to strike, this is a pretty good year. And I mean, I know we all said the jokes of like, yeah, wouldn't it be great now if, hey, we're going to go to Las Vegas. Here's a Super Bowl championship open before we leave.
Yeah.
It could happen. It's not really a joke this year. It could happen. So what we are going to do is you guys could probably figure it out with our rundown.
Could happen, guys.
Who our playoffs are, but we are going to wait until the third segment to kind of reveal the exact seedings of everything. I'm going to turn this on to you guys before we go to the NFC. Let us know what you guys think down below. Who was too low on teams? Who was too high? Where do you have each of the teams? And what predictions did you like, didn't like? What are you looking for the AFC coming into the 2017 season? And Mark, let's move right on into the NFC now. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go north, south, east, and west. This time, though, we'll switch it up. I'll go first with the north and the east. You'll go first with the south and the west. And with the NFC North on the docket, but my division's looking like in last place. Fourth overall, we've got the Chicago Bears at 2-14, 1-5 in the division. Third in the division, we've got the 8-8 Detroit Lions. Then second overall, you guys knew I had to have them above the Lions, 10-6. My Minnesota Vikings, the Purple People Leaders. And then leading the division, and I'm going to spoil this one right here, the best team in the NFC record-wise at 14-2, the Green Bay Football Packers. What do you got for your NFC North predictions?
Yeah, not too far off, at least ranking-wise for me. And I'm a Chicago fan, so let me put that out there when I say that they're 16-0, so everybody understands.
Super Bowl Super Bears.
Chicago Bears could coming in a nice 16-0 at the bottom of the division here.
Super Bowl Super Bears.
I have them at 6-10.
Okay.
I do, and I know that you think it's a little high, but I do think that after Glennon goes out there and loses like 5 games straight, that he's going to get the boot, and it's going to be finally Mitch Trubisky time.
Which is funny. I got you guys 1-4 in the first 5.
Because
you guys you'll beat us once.
Yeah.
You always beat us once.
I actually have that too, so I'll give it 4 games, and then Mitch comes in to play the Vikings. And they're like, all right, this experiment's over. And then, Chicago's got a good defense and all that stuff, just as long as nobody throws the ball too far against them. Then I got the Lions at 8-8. I got your Vikings at 9-7.
Okay.
Maybe they'll squeeze their way into the playoffs. We'll find out. And then on top, of course, is the Green Bay Packers at 11-5.
Yeah,
no surprise.
Green Bay, they could be 13-3. Let's be honest. Originally, I had them at 13-3 with a possibility of maybe being 12-4. The Seattle game was like, you know what, they'll win it at home, but I could see Seattle maybe winning that one. Originally, though, it was 13-3, and the losses were week 2 to the Falcons, Week 6 in Minnesota, Week 5 in Jerry World. Then the Zeke suspension happened, and I went, oh, they are not losing to that Cowboy team without Zeke out there, and that's why they went to 14-2 in mine.
Yeah, I think that the Packers, for me, their losses are not surprising. I have them losing the Falcons. They've done it before. Losing the Cowboys, that's not a big surprise. They've done it before. I when it comes to the divisions, certainly they're going to lose either a Vikings game or a Lions game or a Bears game. They're going to lose some of those. I got them losing to the Bears because the Bears are coming off a bye. And it's at home for Chicago. That's a big advantage there. I actually have them probably losing to the Ravens off of a bye as well. Ravens coming off a bye. Joe Flacco's got to be there by week 11, right? The Ravens are not a bad team. They're just not a great team.
Yeah.
I think that they have a high-powered enough offense to really go toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers. And that defense out there, probably a better defense than Green Bay's. I know Green Bay always likes, the fans of Green Bay always like to say that we're underselling their defense.
Yeah.
But I'm going to rank the Ravens higher.
No, and how I look at the divisions, I mean, Packers and Bears, 5-1, 1-5. And then the Vikings and Lions, perfect 3-3, or like Splitsville basically with 3-3. This division, the big thing is the middle teams. Like Detroit, I have them at 8-8. Could see them at 10-6. Like that's a perfect season for them.
Yeah.
Could see them making the playoffs. Not saying they won't. I have them at 8-8, and I think that they're gonna stumble in a few games this year because like I like the Buccaneers against them. I like the Giants against them, kind of like 2 that could go the other way. What about the NFC South? You go first with the South.
All right. So this might be a surprise for some people out there. But at the very bottom, I have the 4-12 Carolina Panthers. Claw up.
4-12.
Y'all, you guys know I like to claw up. All right? You like when I claw up. I claw up all day. And it's a rough one, too, because I got them beating the 49ers, beating the Bills, and beating the Saints weeks 1, 2, and 3.
Jeez.
And then not winning again until week 12.
Jesus.
Here's the thing about the Carolina Panthers. Yes, they have a nice Christian McCaffrey out there, who everyone's excited about. But this defense looks banged up already.
Okay.
Not looking too great. Cam Newton's not healthy. So a unhealthy Cam Newton is just going to be the same Cam Newton we saw last year, which wasn't very good. So I'm not feeling too hot on this team right now. I don't, and they've got a very strong strength of schedule because they're going to play the NFC North, which we already talked about. It's got some good teams. They're going to play the Patriots, and that's pretty much a guaranteed loss there. The Jay Cutler-led Miami Dolphins, I think they can squeeze that one out, sure. But they also are going to play the Eagles, which are a tough team this year as well. Just to point out some of the games that aren't the typical ones for them. So they definitely have a hard schedule. It doesn't do them any favors. And I like Christian McCaffrey, like I said. But my next team, the New Orleans Saints, coming in at 8-8, I like Adrian Peterson more than I like Christian McCaffrey. And I like Drew Brees more than I like Cam Newton. It's just the kind of thing where I just look at the pieces, look at the playmakers, and I'm going to pick the Saints to win more games than the Carolina Panthers. So sorry to my Claw Panthers fans out there. You guys know I'm a big fan of you guys.
Don't worry. I got their back. I got their back where you failed them, Mark.
But just not too high. Let's move over to the next one. I wanted so badly for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers
to make the playoffs,
to win the division because that way it'll keep rotating and continue that pattern. But I have them at 11-5, which is great and should be able to win the division. That offense is a monster.
11-5.
Yeah. Wow. You got Mevins, you got Deshaun Jackson.
I get that.
What else you need?
I get that, but I feel like
Jameis Winston has not shown anything wrong.
It's like I'm not shocked that they're 11-5. I'm shocked that they're 11-5 and still lose the division.
Well, you got the 12-14 Falcons right above.
Okay, 12-14.
They are still a good team, and a lot of people want to see a Super Bowl slump out of the Atlanta Falcons. I just don't buy it. They're going to come back. They still have all those weapons on offense. They still have a great. They still have a good defense. The defense wasn't necessarily great last year, but it was coming on hot. And this defense looks better. It is fast as hell. It is athletic. They are very underrated. I would say that defense is underrated. And this is a team that is not going to take that slump like the Denver Broncos, like the Carolina Panthers would. This is a team that comes in saying, we fucked up. We know we fucked up, and we're not going to make that same mistake again.
No, and I mean, going into mine, I'm a little bit different than you at the bottom. I have the Saints in the cellar, 5-11 for New Orleans, and then I have the Panthers ahead of them at 9-7. Now, that 9-7 could be a little less. I mean, Cam Newton's injured. They said he's on track to start and play against the Jaguars. But I like the Panthers this year. I like the addition of Christian McCaffrey. And with the Saints, I don't think their offense will be fine. Their defense is still going to be a question mark for me.
Always the issue.
The top two, though, is where I really have, I wanted to put I'm going to spoil it. I wanted to put the Bucs in the playoffs. I did. But there's another team that you'll later on see in the third segment that I wanted in the playoffs a little bit more, that I like a little bit better. So I got the Bucs second, 9-7, and then 11-5, the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons, like I said, they're going to come out pissed off. However, they're still going to lose 5 games. To me, they are 7-1 to start, losing to the Patriots. Then they'll lose back-to-back, Cowboys, Seahawks. And then they are all fine until 15-17. They lose on the road to the Buccaneers. They lose at home to the Carolina Panthers. So, I mean, I wanted to also, like you, be like, hey, maybe the Bucs can win the division this year. But I looked at this Falcon team, and I'm like, when you bring up Super Bowl slump, I'm like, you know what? I feel like this Falcon team, it's not going to be slumping. I'll put my money on coming out pissed off and playing better than people expect them to.
Yeah, they're going to do great. Unfortunately, I still have them losing to the Patriots in week 7.
I do too. I couldn't.
So
I couldn't pick that one.
They don't get that rematch.
How about do you have anything left about the South?
No, I'm good.
Okay, let's move on to this. Is to me the most interesting division in all of football.
Kind of always
usually
is, right?
And I'll go first with the East. In the cellar, last place at 8-8, the Washington Redskins, led by Kurt, whatever you want to call him. I know me and Brandon like to kind of exhaust that joke to its full meaning.
Yeah, you guys are really going hard on
that. Really, like, you can't get your quarterback name right. It's absurd to me. Then the Cowboys at third at 9-7, and then the Eagles in second place at 9-7 also, and then winning the division 11-5. I know they have an injury to OJB. I know that Brandon Marshall is injured. I feel like they will be ready for the regular season, though. They might lose that first one, but they'll be ready after that. And although they have a weak offensive line, they overcome it. 11-5 are the Giants to win it all. And to me, the key one are the Cowboys. But before we get into that, run down your NFC East.
All right. We have a lot of similarities here, and then some
differences.
Well, in the records, our similarities are very similar. So I have an 8-8 Redskins as well at the bottom. And Sean freaked out when he saw that.
Too high or too low,
he thought it was too high, I think.
Okay.
And Kirk Cousins, I believe in him even with nothing around him. I think he's got one more contract year, and he's going to go out there and prove himself again.
You want to know what's funny about the entire division to me? All of them are 3-3 in the division. All of them are splitsies.
Not quite for me. Not quite for me. I got the 9-7 New York Giants.
Okay.
They are third, which is similar to you with the 9-7 part, but not the right teams. Then I have the Eagles at 10-6. So they definitely that's our one record that's a little different. And the Cowboys at 11-5. And I know a lot of people are expecting the Cowboys to go downhill, but so much of this Cowboys team is team based. And I know Zeke went off last year, but so much of it is team based that I think even without him, they're going to do fine. They fortunately get the benefit of a New York Giants possibly without Brandon Marshall and OBJ week 1, which originally was going to be a Giants win for me, and I switched over to the Cowboys with that. But, the teams they play early on are not terribly difficult. I mean, the Broncos have a good defense, but that offense isn't amazing. The Cardinals, we don't know really what to expect out of them. They play the Rams. The Packers is a tough game, sure, but at least it's at home. And then they play the 49ers week 7, and then Zeke should be back. So I'm not really worried about that for him.
Well, and with me, originally, before the Zeke suspension came down, I had the Cowboys at 10-6. I had them second as a wild card team at 10-6, and I had the Giants at 12-4. Then two things happened. One, the Zeke suspension. Right away, I said, you know what, they're losing to the Packers because I think Zeke makes them a lesser team than the Packers. Aaron Rodgers will do anything he can to win that game because the big thing that the Cowboys have to do in that one that Zeke helps with, control the ball, keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the field a hefty dosage now in that game. And then the Cardinals, I looked at it. Monday night, they're playing at home. David Johnson can control the run game where I know that they have like Alfred Morris and Run DMC, but I'm sorry, it's not Zeke Elliott. And I gave it in the hand of the Cardinals and David Johnson. Then the OBJ and Brandon Marshall injuries happened, and I went, you know what? You'll get a game week 1. You'll beat the Giants week 1 in an original loss. So I had them 10-6. They moved down to 8-8, and then they moved up to 9-7, where I have them in right now. So kind of a turbulent ride for the Cowboys, but I feel like they could be like if they went 10-6, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all because, I mean, week 8, I have them losing to the Redskins. That could be a win. I have them losing to the Raiders and the Seahawks. Those could easily be wins. The Eagles, I have them stealing a game. And the Eagles are that team with the Buccaneers that I said, I was higher on someone else. I really like the Eagles this year. Notice how the two teams I have at the top of this division are the two that have probably the best wide receiver tandems in this division, where Brandon Marshall coming over, if he's healthy, like if these guys get back to healthy, he's a red zone target. And I loved how Colin Cowherd put it, because it's exactly correct. this is the best quarterback that Brandon Marshall has ever had. Best quarterback he's ever had with Eli Manning, and that is going to pay dividends. And then I like Carson Wentz, and I like what they did adding Torrey Smith and Alshon Jeffrey, 2 former Bears in this division, too, to boot, and that's why I have those 2 teams at the top. The Cowboys would have been there, though, but Zeke got suspended.
Yeah, I just think I get worried with Brandon Marshall reportedly is very slow to learn this offense and having trouble now.
I'm hearing it's a lot of hand signals. That's what I'm hearing. That's what all the experts were saying today, why he needs to be on the field.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly helps. And then OBJ, question marks keep happening about him, and now he's hurt. So that certainly doesn't help either. You know, especially a player who gets in his own head quite a bit, like Odell does. To start off injured and then get some of those frustrations, especially if he starts slow, I don't see that helping the Giants. And Eli, the last couple of years now, has been full of mistakes. And as much as, Eli's probably the most talented quarterback that Brandon Marshall has ever played for. But he's just, once again, he's in his head too. He just keeps making dumb mental mistakes, and that's going to cost the New York Giants most likely. But yeah, NFC East will be interesting.
And then let's move on. The last division, and I kind of feel like this is where we already saw my number one, your number one. Can I just take a guess at it, or do you want me to wait?
Yeah, give it a shot.
The Niners.
Yeah, the 49ers.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
At 2 and
that's
14.
What I thought. Well, it was either the Niners or the Rams, but I thought it was the Niners.
It's not the Rams. Rams fans are going to love me tonight.
You said 2 wins for the Niners?
Oh, yeah.
I'll one-up you. Here's mine. 1 and 15. They are 1 win better than the 0-16 New York Jets. Congratulations, Kyle Shanahan. You are the number 2 pick in the draft.
Yeah, I mean,
have your pick of Allen, Rosen, whoever you want.
They're going to beat the Jaguars. You know, there's no doubt about that. And there's someone they're going to squeak a win by, whether it's a Rams home game. That's the game. Week 3, Rams at home. That's the game. I mean, there's the chances that they could beat, the Colts if they don't have Andrew Luck.
I'm not saying
they can make things happen.
There are chances. Plus, 49er fans usually hate me anyways.
Not
so
that
why
many
not?
things, but they can make things happen. They're my bottom.
Let's be honest. Remember 2 years ago when I said, 0-16 for the 49ers, and week 1 they came out and beat my Vikings. So, I mean,
that's what
the Niners love to prove me wrong. But third, I've got the 3-13 Los Angeles Rams. Second place, I've got the 9-7 Cardinals. Almost had them as a playoff team, but they are not. And then winning the division, 13-3, second best team in the NFC, the Seattle Sea Chickens.
Do you guys like how he asked me what my things were, and then he took it and then he ran with it?
I did.
Do you see what I deal with here?
I did. Go ahead.
So I had the 49ers at 2 and 14, like we said.
Totally did not realize that, by the way, either.
Well, you did, and I was like, wasn't I just going?
Totally forgot here.
Then I got the Arizona Cardinals at 6 and 10.
Okay. So they're your third place team?
They're my third place team, and a lot of that is just because of the kind of the hangover from last year for me. So I said the Rams fans were going to love me, right? You guys are second in the division at 7 and 9. This one also freaked Sean out. He didn't like it. But Jared Goff actually looked kind of good.
Rams fans also said we were ragging on Goff too much.
Yeah, they did
in our preview. So they could be happy with your kind of evening out.
Yeah,
here.
and I don't know if we were necessarily. I mean, we were ragging on him. We certainly were. But I have always been the person so far.
A Goff apologizer.
Yeah, I have apologized for him in saying that really he hasn't gotten a fair shake yet.
An apologist is what I was looking for.
So then I got the 10 and 6 Seattle Seahawks, which shouldn't surprise anybody.
See, I looked at mine and I went 13 and 3, and at first I went, is that too high? Is that too the 3 losses I have are week 1 at Packers, week 5 at Rams, week 10 at Cardinals. Is that too high? Should I have them a little lower? That's what I originally thought. Well, originally I had them at I want to say 12 and 4. 12 and 4 because I think I had the Texans when the Texans were really good.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I have them losing to the Packers because the Packers are at home.
Yeah.
I have them losing to the Titans when the Titans are at home because I really like the Titans.
That could be one.
I have them losing a game to the Rams because they always lose one to the Rams.
That's why I do.
The Giants, I like that for the Giants. They should be full strength, and I just think that offense is a little too powerful, and the Giants' defense matches up well enough against the Seattle Seahawks defense. And then the Falcons already beat the Seahawks last year. I don't see why they can't do it again.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, with me, I could see the ones that you have, I could totally see. Mm-hmm. I just have them 13-3
I got them a loss to the Cowboys, too, at the end of the season.
Okay, yeah, I've got them winning that one, too.
So, I mean, my thing for the Seattle Seahawks is they're a team that if they start getting beaten up, if they start getting frustrated, they will lose games themselves. But they're never going to lose enough to make it be that big of a difference.
Any final things you want to talk about before we go into our playoff predictions?
No, not really. I mean, I just think that the teams here, I don't think there's any huge surprises. My biggest surprise potentially is the Giants not making it into the playoffs because...
I thought you were going to give them the 6th seed for a second. For a hot second, I thought you were going to give them that 6th seed.
You'll have to wait and see who has that 6th seed, but that's probably my biggest surprise. I don't think anything else is really a surprise here.
Well, and this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below about the NFC. Where are we right? Where are we wrong? What do you think about what we said about your favorite team? Let us know down below in the comment section. But Mark, this is the fun part of the podcast. We just went through the entire league, AFC, NFC. If you're on YouTube, go and check those out before you get to this one. You got to be kind of like what me and Johnny saw a movie this weekend, Logan Lucky. Good movie. You should go see it. It's kind of like Daniel Craig said in the movie. No peeking. No peeking. That's what you're doing right now. We're doing our playoff predictions. Go see what we thought about, then come back and watch this. Mark, I'm going to let you go first. This is where we put the nice fancy graphic up for the YouTube folks. Run us through your playoffs. What do you see? What do you see?
First, I'm going to run through my seeding really quickly.
Okay.
The number 1 seed is the New England Patriots. Number 2, the Oakland Raiders. Number 3, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 4, the Tennessee Titans. Number 5, the Kansas City Chiefs. And then number 6, that 8-8 team that I talked about, the Baltimore Ravens, coming in at 8-8. Texans and Colts also 8-8, but they didn't quite make it. For a while, I kind of did have the Texans coming into it, but they just have not impressed me in the offseason, in the preseason. So that's the AFC. Let me run over to the NFC just to mention that.
Okay.
Falcons at number 1. The number 2, Dallas Cowboys. 3 is the Green Bay Packers. 4 is the Seattle Seahawks. 5 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And 6 is the Philadelphia Eagles coming in over the New York Football Giants. So to talk about the wild card, we want to talk about the wild card for a little bit. My teams, I just gave you the seedings, but the way it matches up, the Ravens at number 6 are going to play the Steelers at number 3. The Tennessee Titans at number 4 are going to host the Kansas City Chiefs, number 5. So for me, pretty simple on the AFC side. Pittsburgh's just a better team than the Baltimore Ravens are. I don't think that it's a surprise that this team is going to be able to host that one and win it. Big Ben also has a little bit of momentum because he's probably done after this year, so that's certainly going to help him. This Kansas City Tennessee Titans team, our game, kind of go back and forth on a little bit on who I think is the better team. I think that Andy Reid has such a well-coached team, but this Tennessee Titans offense is explosive and is going to be able to basically score on Kansas City, and Kansas City's not going to be able to score back. This team is not designed to go into shootouts. That's not what they do. They want to keep it nice and close. So I got the Steelers and I got the Titans winning, both home teams.
Okay.
Then moving, of course, to the NFC side. I'm assuming you want me to do the wild card all the way, or do you want me to
do it however you want, Mark.
Let's finish the wild card.
It's all up there for you. They can see both sides.
We'll finish the wild card. The number 3 Green Bay Packers are going to host, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles at number 6. And then Seattle Seahawks at number 4 hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, once again, it's about home teams in this one. The Philadelphia Eagles are a good team. They got a lot of weapons, but they just aren't going to match up to Aaron Rodgers and what he can do with the Packers. Man's going to go on a tear. And the Buccaneers, I wanted to get them that explosive win, much like the Atlanta Falcons were able to just zoom right past the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs last year. But Seattle was able to come back easily and almost beat. I mean, they were a drive away from beating the Falcons last year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't think, are so lucky. They're not going to have as amazing of an offense as the Falcons had. So I don't think they would be able to really compete in that way. So I gave it to the Seahawks. Let's move over to the divisional. So if you're, following at home, you know what's going on here. The Oakland Raiders, number 2, they're going to host the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 3. And the number 1 New England Patriots get to play the Titans. I hate doing it this way, but home teams again. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I like them. I like them a lot.
But you like the Raiders more?
I'm picking that youth of the Oakland Raiders to go against the old Big Ben. And quite probably his last game ever as a Pittsburgh Steeler or in the NFL. Then, it's the Patriots. The Patriots are going to win all day. So moving forward, the NFC, at least I got a little bit of a difference with the Cowboys are going to host the Packers and the Falcons hosting the Seattle Seahawks. So Packers, they're going to win this one. They're going to win it like they won it last year. I'm not worried about that. Aaron Rodgers can get it done. He can do it. Now this one, this is a rematch. The Seattle Seahawks, they want to get it going. They want to say, this time you can't get us. This time we will get that one extra drive. We will do it, and we will come out on top. And the Falcons are saying, fuck you guys. We got retribution. The Patriots are still there. We're going to go to that Super Bowl, and we're going to beat them this time. And they're going to win that home game for them to get to the conference championship. So conference championship, of course, we're going to go to Foxborough. The New England Patriots are going to be hosting the Oakland Raiders, number 1 versus number 2, and then number 1 versus number 3. The Falcons are going to host the Packers, and you're going to have to wait to find out who wins this one.
So now it's mine?
Yep,
We're going
all
into
you.
mine. I might be making a change on the fly really quickly.
All right.
And the reason why is I got to look back to, that was that year. Okay. I'm not going to make a change.
You can walk us through it if you want.
I almost did. I'll get there. But just the same thing you did, kind of like my seeding to go through everything was number 1 in the AFC, 15-1, New England Patriots. Number 2 at 13-3, the Oakland Raiders. Then number 3 at 11-5, the Pittsburgh Steelers. 4, the AFC South champ at 11-5, the Tennessee Titans. And then we've got 10-6, number 5, the Kansas City Chiefs. And then at 9-7, Jay Cuddy does it, baby.
That's right.
Jay Cuddy does it.
On his way to a Super Bowl.
Getting the Dolphins back to the playoffs. Because like he said, he mentioned this week, the big thing he got tired in Chicago was all the losing.
Yeah.
That's what kind of wore out his welcome in Chicago. Not going to do much of that. Only 7 times he's going to lose this year with the Dolphins. Then in the NFC, top team, the Green Bay Packers, 14-2. Seattle Seahawks, number 2 at 13-3. Giants, 11-5. Falcons, 11-5. And then the Vikings at 10-6 and the Eagles at 9-7. How it works is I'll do the same thing. I'll start in the AFC, kind of do it by each round. First game, a rematch of last year. The Dolphins going up against the Steelers, and I wanted to pick the Dolphins so bad in this one, Mark.
You should have done
did.
it.
I wanted to, but I had to go with the Steelers. I had to. Just the better team. Jay Cutler, he had the magic to get them to the playoffs, but he doesn't have the magic to get them anywhere else into the playoffs. Then the other game, the Titans, the Chiefs. I almost went with the Titans. Like, out of any road team, like, this is the one road team that I'm like, yes, they could win. However, I like the Titans. I like Marcus Mariota. They go on and they win. So, the Steelers, Raiders, Titans, Patriots, kind of like what you have it. But going over to the NFC, the wild card, we have an NFC East matchup, the third meeting between the third-seeded Giants and the sixth-seeded Eagles. The Giants get the win at home. They get the win at home over the Eagles. And then I have an upset. The Vikings walk into Atlanta and upset the Atlanta Falcons. Some people are going to say, Ricky, that's a homer pick.
It is.
Let me have it.
It is.
Let me have it. We'll walk in. We'll beat the Falcons. I think we can do it. Then we got the division.
How are you going to go up against that offense?
Wait until the next game. Then we're going to get into my my little dilemma. The next round, though, the divisional round, the second-seeded Raiders, the third-seeded Steelers. Part of me was like, man, I hate picking the home teams, but Raiders beat the Steelers, Patriots beat the Titans. Like, it's 1-2 in the AFC. Then we go over to the NFC, Giants, Seahawks. Yes, I know it's in Seattle, This is a rematch from earlier in the year where my Seahawks defeated my Giant team in the Meadowlands. Revenge will be on the mind of the Giants. They will get the win in Seattle to move on to the NFC Championship game. And then here was my little dilemma. The Packers and the Vikings. Because part of me, if you guys know me and you've been an avid listener of the Onside Kick, I like history. Mm-hmm. I'm going with history a lot.
You like the storyline.
I love the storylines. And if the Packers win, the storyline is the rematch of last year, the rematch of the game where Odell Beckham bashed a locker where he got really mad after it. Or you go a little bit down the line and you go, the only other time the Vikings have been not the last time, but the time before, because I forgot about the Brett Favre year, the Bountygate year. Fuck you Saints. I had to say it. It's still on my mind. But the year before that, I think it was like 2005, I want to say, something like that. One of the last times with Dante Culpepper, Randy Moss, we played the Giants in the NFC title game. That was the one where they went ahead and won the Super Bowl that year. I kind of wanted to pick the Vikings. And the head-to-head in the playoffs for the Vikings, both time at Green Bay, the only 2 times we played them in the postseason, we won with Dante Culpepper and Randy Moss.
There you go.
We lost with Joe Webb in the playoffs of recently.
Yeah.
And I wanted to pick my Vikings. I did. I wanted to go with another homer pick. I can't change it, though, because this Packer team is too good. Mm-hmm. Packer team is too good for this Viking team. If it was in Minnesota, I would have picked it, but because it's in Green Bay, I'm going to go with the Packers. So my championship games... You got to
play at a real cold stadium.
The Raiders will go into Foxborough for a rematch of the Tuck Rule game. It's going to snow that weekend, too. I'm calling it. It's going to snow that weekend in Foxborough. And then we get a rematch of last year's playoff matchup, the Giants going into Green Bay. You go first with yours, though, because you went first with the other ones. What's your Super Bowl? Or actually, no. I'm going to turn it into them.
That's what I totally
forgot we're going to do this. You guys let us know down below. It's getting late here. It's getting late here for MVP. Like, things are just...
You're just building the suspense.
We shouldn't be recording this late because Ricky kind of forgets how things are going. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know down below. What do you guys think? Because we will come back. We got one more. We're going to give you our Super Bowl predictions. That's how we're going to end it. But we got to tease you a little bit. We got to keep you coming back for more. So let us know what you think of our playoffs off to this point. But Mark, let's start with you. We are going to give our Super Bowl winners. If you am catching on to this, want to go through our playoffs, check out the recent segment on MVP. And we are going to give our Super Bowl championship game.
Yep.
We are going to give our winner. But you know what else we get to give in this segment, Mark?
What's that?
We get to kiss somebody. Well, I get to kiss somebody. I get to take a whole fan base and kind of give them a big old kiss of death. Yeah, I get to kiss of death an entire fan base and their team today.
And you may have already done it.
I'll let you go first. That's a little bit of a hint there, but you go first.
So, my number 1 seed Patriots are going to play the Oakland Raiders at number 2 in the AFC. Mm-hmm. You like to reference the Tuck Rule in this one.
It's going to snow that weekend.
It very well might. I actually have... They're going to love me. And Sean's going to hate me if he doesn't already. I have the Oakland Raiders winning against the New England Patriots. There's just too much hype. Too much hype around these Patriots. I don't believe it. You know, it's just... It makes too much sense that they roll in there. They already did it. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Who knows what's going to really happen? But I really like Derek Carr. I really like his offense. And sure, the defense needs to step up a little bit, but the Patriots' defense isn't amazing. It's not like they're a top 10. Well, they're not a bad defense. I don't want to get down on them too hard. They are a good defense, but they're not an amazing defense is what I'm trying to get at. We're not going to Seattle Seahawks level defense.
Yeah.
So I believe that Derek Carr can get into the shootout, and I think he can win it. I believe in him. Let's move over to the NFC. I have the number 1 Atlanta Falcons playing the number 3 Green Bay Packers. This is a little bit of a head-to-head bad matchup here for them.
Also a rematch of last year's NFC title game.
Yep, and of course the week 2, the Falcons beat the Green Bay Packers. So Green Bay really has this losing streak going on, and somehow, some way. It pains me to say this as a Chicago Bears fan, but Green Bay Packers are going to win this game.
Don't worry.
They'll finally make it happen.
It all levels out in the end.
They'll finally make it happen.
Pains you to say, but it'll level out.
My Super Bowl matchup, and I won't give my prediction for who wins just yet, but my matchup is the number 2 seed, not that it matters at this point, Oakland Raiders, and the number 3 seed Green Bay Packers.
So now you want to give mine? You want me to run through mine?
Yeah, get to your Super Bowl.
Just to recap, in case you didn't hear our playoff predictions in the last video, I have the Tuck Rule game also. Number 1 Patriots hosting the number 2 Oakland Raiders. I can't do it, Mark. I know I am wearing a technical Raiders shirt on.
We should switch shirts.
But it's not a Raiders shirt. It's a Rangers shirt. I'm wearing a Rangers shirt. I know it's kind of it's confusing on some points, but I can't pick against the Patriots. I have them 15-1. The only team they had lost to up to this point is this Oakland Raider team. So you beat the Patriots, you just
didn't do it at the right time.
Picked the wrong. You should have let them go 16-0, and then you would have beat them. However, if they went 16-0, they have to go to the Super Bowl because at that point
18-1.
They're destined to lose to the New York Football Giants. And speaking of the New York Football Giants, they get to revenge a joke that I made earlier in the podcast when I called the Green Bay Packers the Green Bay Football Packers. They get mad at me. New York fans get mad at me.
Yeah, they got really mad about that joke. It's not even cool.
And the Giants, they go into Green Bay, number 1 Green Bay, number 3 New York. The Giants go into Lambeau, get the win, revenge last year. And I've got the number 1 overall seeded New England Patriots playing the number 3 seed from the NFC, the Green Bay Football Giants. And I'll just go into it. I'll start it with mine.
All right.
Because mine should be very painstakingly easy at this point. When a Patriot and a Giant walk into a bar, the Giant wins the Super Bowl. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Eli Manning is 2-0 against Tom Brady.
He finds a way.
Tom Brady might be one of the greatest Super Bowl quarterbacks ever, but he can't beat Eli Manning. Eli Manning gets his 3rd ring.
He would have to hand
3rd ring.
Tom Brady would have to hand over the GOAT trophy, which is just a GOAT, to Eli Manning at that point and say, "You have bested me." And Peyton would have to also say, "Yes, Eli, you have bested me as well."
I was just going to say, at that moment, Peyton Manning will be doing whatever TV gig they reeled him in for the Super Bowl or standing on the sideline, and he will just have one single tear going down his cheek because for that moment, Peyton Manning knew he was no longer equal Manning. He was elite Manning.
Yep.
So, yeah, I got the Giants over the Patriots. How about you? You got Raiders and Packers.
I had so many home teams winning here, and I like that this conference the conference championship games, I had both the away teams winning. So I have like I said, Oakland Raiders, Green Bay Packers. And I think this is great. This is old guard versus new guard. You're kind of looking at a guy who gets compared to Aaron Rodgers quite often, and Derek Carr, a guy who's kind of being looked at as the future face of the NFL. Not that Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere.
I mean, Derek Carr is, I believe you just said, the highest paid player in the NFL right now.
And he's getting a lot of fame, getting a lot of fortune now, and he can gamble it all away in Las Vegas next year.
Just don't listen to David.
Yeah. Very, very good advice right there. So I think this is a really cool matchup, and the storylines are going to be great. Neither team has an amazing defense, but both have really high-powered offenses. And I kind of like the high-powered offense in Oakland more than I like the high-powered offense in Green Bay. Part of that, of course, is because I'm buying the hype on Marshawn Lynch. I definitely think that I haven't talked about him yet, but
there are quite a few people who are not, though.
And I totally get it because he's been out of football for a while, and he's totally probably not in the best shape. But this is a Super Bowl right here. He's figured it out by now if he had any issues. I believe in him, and at the same time, I am a believer in the wide receiver to running back phenom that happened in Green Bay. I do like him as well. So, it's interesting for me, but I like this Raiders offense a little bit more. Last year I said I was high on them, but it wasn't time. I didn't realize injury was going to be the thing that made it not time. But it wasn't time for the Oakland Raiders yet. They weren't ready. They weren't there.
Both Tennessee and Oakland. It was like the reason why it wasn't time to move on or even make the playoffs if you're Tennessee, both of them were injury.
Yeah. But this is it. This is my year. Oakland Raiders winning the Super Bowl. Thank you to Oakland. Thank you for your years of service. We'll see you later. We're in Las Vegas.
One last hurrah before they move on to Las Vegas to join the Golden Knights, I believe. I believe that's the NHL team that's already there.
Yeah.
And I know it's the Knights. I think it's the Golden Knights.
What was it? Was it AFL? By that I mean Arena Football. The Kiss? Las Vegas Kiss?
That's the LA Kiss.
LA Kiss. All right. I forgot where they were.
Yeah, LA Kiss. I'm looking to see.
Not that anybody cares about Arena Football.
You're thinking of the Las Vegas Outlaws.
There you go.
That's what you're thinking of. And I believe they are no longer a team anymore. From what I'm looking at, Wikipedia says
it's Arena Football.
2015-16 is what they have here. So maybe the Outlaws aren't a thing anymore. I don't know. I don't really. It says Arena Football, but they were also an XFL team. I'm like, yeah, I believe they were the XFL. I got a question for you. Okay. This is very off topic, but it's kind of at the end of our whole thing, so screw it.
Yeah.
I got this question because I was watching, I believe it was, was it the Game Over Greggy show or was it Kind of Funny Games? It was one of the two. And they asked
Talking
a question.
Talking about other podcasts on our podcast. Well, there you go.
I like to know where I got the question from.
Sure.
I don't want to steal anything.
Check things out.
But I want a question for you. Mm-hmm. We're not going to get a college football game again. I am for sure with that, and I got to tell myself that so I don't get my hopes up. Do you think they'll ever say in the future that, you know what, fuck it, let's give them an XFL game? McMahon will be like, let's make a little money. Let's get these 90s kids to give us their money because they loved the XFL with all of its...
Like they would make another XFL league?
Like an EA XFL game.
Oh, you mean a video game?
Yes.
Oh.
Like an EA XFL game.
Well, first of all, fuck you again for mentioning NCAA. Anytime you mention NCAA, it breaks my heart all over again. I still play NCAA 13.
Like I said, I got to continue to remind myself we're not going to get one so I don't get my hopes up.
Yeah, I still play it. I still love it. I'm crazy about that game. I would buy it in a heartbeat if they had it. You know, I'd pre-order that day one.
My favorite thing was getting the guy, starting him off as a freshman, playing all the way through, and then transferring him into Madden.
No, I mean, I loved Road to Show. My favorite, or Road to the Show. I don't know why I called it that. You know what I mean? Career mode, my player. I loved playing the high school games. I don't know why. It was so awesome.
And then Mark
being
never
monster dominant.
Now, is 13 the one with the dorm room? Is that the one where you have the dorm room?
No.
And it's like you have your calendar.
That was years ago.
That was one of my favorites.
That was like 2009.
That was one of my favorites when you had the dorm room.
But to answer your question about the XFL, no, I don't think we're ever going to get the XFL game.
Would you, if they came out with an XFL game, would you buy it?
No.
Or would you basically say, this is the same as NFL Street?
Yeah, it would be very similar to NFL Street. I would buy NFL Street.
Would you?
I probably would. That was a fun game. I liked NBA Ballers more. That was my favorite of all of them.
That was a good. Did they have a baseball one? Didn't they have like? I think I had it on the Wii or something. Wasn't it like not Blitz? Because I know they had NHL Hits. That was the
also awesome.
That was the what's the football game I'm thinking of?
Blitz.
Blitz.
Yeah.
It was Blitz and Hits. Mm-hmm. Then they had Street, like NFL Street, NFL Ballers,
NBA
Ballers, and I believe baseball had one. This is where
I don't know why they would.
This is where I go to the comment section. You guys let us know. Like I remember it because I only remember it being like you can do like a hard slide into second and like knock the guy's legs out, and it was legal. Mm-hmm. So it was like, holy shit, I can actually be a douchebag when I slide in to second and third.
Yeah.
Tangent over. I just had that question. Wanted to ask you about the
Bring
XFL
back NCAA.
Game.
Bring it back.
This is where we ask you, what do you think of our Super Bowl predictions? I say Giants over the Patriots. Mark said the Raiders over the Green Bay Packers.
And I'm not even wearing the Raiders shirt.
No, I am. I'm wearing the Raiders shirt. I am going to the AFC Championship game. Not
Close
too
enough.
bad. Not too bad. At least you lost to the Patriots. And you didn't lose to like the Steelers.
The Super Bowl.
I mean, come on. Would you rather lose to the Patriots or the Steelers? I'll lose to the Patriots over the Steelers any day. Because at least I lost to the GOAT, who then lost to Elite Manning.
No longer 3-0. He gave it to Eli.
Yeah. Eli Manning is now the GOAT if he wins the Super Bowl now. But I'm sorry for Giant Nation everywhere because I gave you the kiss of death. Let me know what you guys think about anything we talked about on the podcast today. Want to thank you guys for watching and or listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.